rock and stone to the bone. Rock and stone, brother!
You work for Deep Rock Galactic, an interstellar mining company operating on the planet Hoxus 4, with the sole purpose of mining out valuable resources and eliminating any corporate rivals and stomping on any pesky bug that gets in our way in the name of profit, while also drinking an important amount of beer at the hub. The hub area is really small, with every important piece like weapon customization and cosmetics being fairly close to each other, as they're within walking distance, meaning you won't actually have to go very far. But this also means that while you're getting dressed to impress, you can get so absurdly drunk to a point you are left twerking. No, I will not elaborate on that, other than the fact that you could dance in-game. But one thing I will absolutely elaborate on is the fact that drinking actually has an effect on gameplay. These come in the form of specials, and these usually appear right after or before a mission, and usually have a random effect, like increasing the amount of gold obtained when mining, or perhaps increasing your overall melee damage when power attacking, or increasing your Morkite gain when you're gathering resources. And if drinking's not your thing, you can always just kick some barrels around if you're bored, or turn off the gravity if you're feeling fancy. Needless to say, the hub is very interactive with a lot of different things you can just simply do for fun, which I was very surprised to learn about when I was playing through the game and just discovering it on my own. Usually in hub areas, there's not really a whole lot to do other than just sit around and start up a match, but in Deep Rock Galactic, you can just turn off the gravity or get so drunk you pass out. That's just peak game design in my opinion. Games should do that more often. Why don't they? Now before you head off into your first mission, you should probably be aware of the type of environments you'll be getting yourself into. In total, there are 10 different biomes to explore, each providing a unique atmosphere. From the desolate radioactive exclusion zone, invoking this feeling of being in a poisoned land that can barely support the life within, to the Azure Weld, a lush cave with bright luminescent colors and plants that is just teeming with life at every angle you look at. But not all of this life is friendly. Because you see, we're not here for sightseeing. We are here to mine the resources for profit, and also to obtain that succulent drip. One thing I feel absolutely compelled to tell you is the amount of varieties the game has in terms of enemies. Glyphids are just one of the species on Hoxus that we have to go up against, and just look at it. There is so many. They all come in sorts of shapes and sizes, big and small. The dwarves. Short yet powerful, the dwarves are the muscular chads of the Short King world, and come in 4 unique flavors of liquor.
I am heavy weapons guy, and this is my weapon.
Gunner is the heavy support class of the team. His role is to act as the main DPS, dealing damage to both swarms and bosses, but also provide protection by covering teammates. He's by far the easiest of the dwarves to learn, as his usual gameplay is just laying down some hot lead. He also has a force field, which is really useful for objectives or defending an area, keeping you and your team safe. Gunner also has a really slow but reliable zipline that can get you into areas that you wouldn't normally be able to reach.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Driller. His role in combat is to act as aerial denial, making use of his flamethrower to clear hordes fairly easily. But he can't really deal out large amounts of damage to bosses like Gunner, but he makes up for it with his utility. First piece he has is a rather fucking large brick of C4. The C4 explosive can be used to create pathways or get resources much faster. But if you're playing Driller, I know for a fact you're tossing these like it's candy and nuking whatever is right in front of you, from teammates to the biggest bug you can find. And the second and most important part of Driller's kit is the Driller Hands, which turns the world of Hoxus and your driller's oyster. It doesn't matter where you are or where the objective is, he will make a tunnel with these things in less than 5 seconds. The point is, his drills are an incredibly useful tool, allowing you and your teammates to get from point A to point B much quicker and more efficiently. It's also great on certain mission objectives where you need to set up pathways or pipelines, as you can just create a straight line path to a pump jack.
I solve practical problems.
The practical problem solver, the engineer. Role-wise for the team, he acts as a form of backline defensive support, making use of his sentries, shotgun, and his awesome grenade launcher. Outside of his main utility being sentry, he has another one, simply known as the platform gun, which you can use to create, well, platforms that can be used to reach points that otherwise would be inaccessible to most classes, or be able to use it to build bridges, or just reach those precious minerals that we need for profits. His playstyle is very defensive, cemented by his kit working to defend those at close range, but also assisting the team in resource hunting by creating platforms that are out of reach spots. And I'm just gonna be honest here, I really don't like playing him. I know that sounds like heresy, but now before people start grabbing their pitchforks and rifles, let me be clear, that doesn't make him bad by any means. He can be fun, I just prefer not his playstyle at all, as I prefer to just be more direct in my approach.
No! Mommy!
Scout. He is effectively the Spider-Man of the whole team. His job is simple: to gather resources at a much faster rate than literally everyone else, with his utilities being the flare gun, which is tailor-made to brighten up a cave with a single shot, and a grappling hook, the Scout's most important tool for traversing the underground caves with ease. Okay, but Scout's actual role is to run around and look for resources the team might need and grab them in areas other classes would have trouble reaching, but in combat, his role is to act as the team's executioner. As the Scout's weapons are best used for single target damage, as Scout lacks the total ammo capacity to take on large groups of enemies. Which is pretty useful considering the fact that some enemies the team would be far too distracted with the main horde to be able to deal with. Combining both his movement tools and his weaponry, you'll be able to gunsling and swing around like nobody's business. Okay, now each class has a niche that people would either like or not, as each of them is entirely based on player preference, but choosing one class over the other does affect one thing alone, and that's progression. Each of the 4 classes are leveled up individually, meaning that if what you do for one class stays on that one until you swap to another one and begin grinding on that. But with how unique each class feels, you'd be missing out on a ton of content if you choose to not play others, or at least give them a chance. Moreover, the resources you collect from mission objectives, or just bonus ones you can find around, also play into obtaining upgrades for both your weapons and armor. Meaning if you want to get an upgrade for a specific weapon, you first need to unlock the upgrade slots by just reaching the level, then grinding for the resources that you need to obtain them. Thankfully, you can swap out upgrades, meaning that you can just get all of them and create new creative and unique builds for all the weapons and tools in the game, with only one type of upgrade being available once you start to getting into the end game of Deep Rock Galactic: overclocks. How overclocks affect gameplay is quite unique, as they can usually range from giving your gun a little bit of extra ammo to shoot with, to turning a weapon like the autocannon into a mortar cannon, capable of turning swarms of bugs into goo in a few shots, but have a massive downside that makes it have less ammo and shoot slower overall. But in order to obtain a single one, you need to go in what is known as a deep dive. Deep dives are the end game for us miners, and also the hardest challenges currently available to us as of Season 5. One thing to note about each deep dive is that resources are carried over during the dive. Moreover, if you're practically empty going into a drop pod going deeper, you will still be drained out until you resupply. Deep dives come in 3 stages, each of which carry 2 randomized main objectives. What would normally be a main objective and a bonus one is now replaced with another main that is normally on its own mission. However, certain mission types can't mix, like Harvest Liquid Morkite cannot go with Protect the Drill Dozer, but can mix with something like Extract Morkite, the poor one, not the liquid one again. Assuming you complete all 3 stages on the standard deep dive, you'll be rewarded with 3 things. Blank Matrix Cores, used in combination with a random machine event that once completed will grant you access to use the Matrix Core to obtain a random overclock for 3 out of the 4 classes, either as a cosmetic overclock or weapon overclock. Weapon Matrix Core, a random weapon overclock given to you to one of the 4 classes and their respective weapons. And the last one is the Cosmetic Matrix Core, a literal random cosmetic that you can craft at the Forge Station. The Forge Station is a place where you can craft the matrix cores that you have collected during your deep dives or weekly core hunts, and similar to standard weapon upgrades, it costs both money and resources to produce each of them. The thing is, more overclocks you make will gradually increase the overall forge level, which after reaching a certain point will grant you either one weapon overclock for the choice of 2 out of the 4 classes, or a cosmetic overclock, again for 2 out of the 4 classes, whether it be a beard or a fancy looking mustache. And, hold on, I'm getting a call. Seems like management does not like me wasting time during company hours talking to you. They want me to go mining, and more importantly, they want you. So grab a beer and pickaxe, miner. We've got work to do. For Rock and Stone!